Hi guys, welcome back to my channel if you are new here. I've been really excited to film this video actually because I just think it's such a fun concept. I can't remember now who I saw it off of first, but I'll try to find their video and put it on the screen now so you guys can go check them out. I'm not sure if they've actually started it first, but I still want to give them the credit they deserve because I just love their channel. Today I'm going to be going through unpopular adopt me opinions or controversial opinions. I found these on just random forums online and I've listed them down on my laptop, my favorite ones, and I'm going to be going through them and saying whether I agree with them or not. So with all that said and done, I don't want to drag this intro out any longer. Let's get straight into it. Controversial opinion number one is I feel like we should be using preppy values instead of the values we have now. Trades should be based off of whether you want to do it, not whether it's worth more. I honestly have really mixed opinions about this one, but I feel like I lean towards disagree a bit more because I feel like without a proper trading system with values, we just wouldn't have fun with the game. I still think happy values are great. You should definitely use happy values as well because opinions mean the most when it comes to adopt me. It's all about how you view things. But if we were to literally just scratch actual values and solely base it off of that, the game would just lose its concept altogether. I think there would be less of an aim because you're not trying to work up on trading anything. You'd just be trading for the pets that you think are cute, which would eventually just make the game lose all of its meaning. If anything though, I do think that values should be less strict and there should be more leeway when trading because everything's just too black and white for me. I don't feel like they should be as harsh as they are because sure, I don't think opinions should fully take over because that would just make the game too messy, but we should still be entitled to what we want and our preferences, and values shouldn't stop us and make it absolutely impossible to get certain things because as I said, I just think that sometimes they are too much. The next opinion says preppy values shouldn't exist at all. Not an unpopular opinion to be honest, but honestly I'm fed up. It shouldn't be worth by their looks. So for me, I agree with this statement to an extent because any pet that is just classed as cute nowadays shoots up in value and it makes it so difficult to play the game. I feel like values should be based on how genuinely rare something is instead of how it looks. Take the mini pig for example, or the peppermint penguin. They weren't that rare or hard to find, but they're now classed as exotics and it just really pisses me off. I wouldn't mind just because they look preppy, sure, that might make them worth a bit more and that makes sense because they're cute, but to make it worth so much for me is just silly. I feel like there's just a line with preppy pets and if you cross it, that's when it becomes stupid. But yeah, honestly I do understand preppy values to an extent, as some pets will just be cuter and naturally more in demand. There's nothing we can do about that, and we all kind of have to be guilty of it. We have to be because humans are just naturally biased. We're always going to prefer one pet to the other, so in our head that's just going to be worth more. And I think when there's a majority opinion and people all agree on the same pet being super cute, that's when it shoots up in value. But when there's differences in opinions, I think that's where the main controversy lies. The next opinion says the owl is ugly AF and the parrot should be worth more because it is older. I'm going to be honest, I do actually agree with this one. I still think the owl is cute. I'm not a hater or anything, but I've just never understood how it's worth so much more than the parrot. Obviously the parrot came from the jungle egg and then the owl came after it in the farm egg, so the logic just doesn't really work out. And I feel like this is also an example of the last statement because this is where I also disagree with preppy values, because it's okay for some pets to be worth a tiny bit more because they're cuter, but to have such a big jump in value is silly. As I said, don't come after me if you love owls because I don't necessarily hate them. I've just never personally understood the hype and I actually think the megas are super cute, but other than that they can just be mistaken for a big blob of poo. In a way they lack detail. I think that's the issue because adopt me back then wasn't as developed as it is now. The next opinion says I need pets of different sizes. The Luna tigers should be the actual size that they are in real life. I think that would be pretty cool. I'll be honest, I just straight up disagree with this one and I only included it because it's actually funny to me. It is definitely a cool concept, but if we're genuinely being for real here, it would obviously ruin the game. I actually don't think I could imagine just chilling in adopt me and then a 20-foot giraffe just towering over me and then a teeny ant crawling around our feet. I actually think that's borderline scary. Adopt me would be leaning more on a horror game. The only way I could see this ever working is perhaps it would make a good funny April Fool's update, but I don't even know how they'd execute that because it's just so balmy. The next one, it says I wish there were different adopt me servers, one's for trading, one's for role playing, and one's for building, etc. I think this is such a cool and smart concept. I definitely agree with this one. But the only thing I would have to say about this is it would still be nice to be able to join an all-in-one server as they are the most iconic in my opinion. And honestly, I just like switching from thing to thing, from trading to grinding to building and just doing my own thing. But this is definitely a really unique idea for people who just want to solely focus on one thing like grinding. And obviously you could just grind in a private server, but to have the same people doing the same things around around you could just be like even more motivating, and you could even join each other's family to earn more bucks. Like you could do so much. And obviously I feel like we already kind of make our own trading servers. Like we all look for the rich ones, or we join like Roplexes or just like really famous group. But if Adopt Me was to actually make this, I think they should do it and have like a minimum amount of pets you need before joining one, because it would like prevent beggars from spamming. I feel like saying that out loud sounds really cruel, but I think there should be that option open for people who want to seriously trade, but then also still have normal servers for anyone to trade, you know? This next one says, I think Adopt Me is getting sloppy because they just remake old pets, remake old updates, and if they do something new, it is underwhelming and no effort. I genuinely hate to admit this, but I probably agree with this one the most out of all the ones that I've read. For me, I am genuinely worried for Adopt Me because there will come a day when they run out of remakes to use and they won't have new pets to update with. And I actually think like the consistent updates every Friday are partly to blame for this, because I just think it's a tad bit excessive for this very reason. As like with all the pets coming out, they're just rapidly running out of ideas, and it does show. Like once upon a time, I felt like the Bat Dragon was a really unique and exciting design because it was pretty different compared to all the other dragons, but now we've had literally 3 remakes of it, and there's probably more to come. Like the same just goes for the dragons in general, and even the unicorns are getting pretty repetitive now, and that's literally coming from someone who loves unicorn. I just love it when they have updates where there are like new basic pets that don't have 5 words in their name because they're running out of name ideas. Like the circus, which has come out for the 100th time, and there's always a new type of monkey in each update. I'm just sick of it. I do feel like to say it's sloppy is slightly unfair, because it's clear Adopt Me still puts like loads of effort into the game, especially considering it's held a spot on the main homepage for so long now. So in a way, I don't feel like we should, you know, discredit them for that. But with any Roblox game, it's literally inevitable that ideas will start running short, which is why I do feel like eventually it will just like die out with ideas. The next opinion says, I think pets that come from the same egg and have the same rarity should be worth the same, like the cow being worth more than the pig. I probably have to go with agree on this one, especially with the cow and the pig reference, because like I remember the whole strawberry cow thing going viral, and for some reason that just automatically meant that cows in Adopt Me were like tons more than the pig. And to be honest, like in my opinion, I just feel like the pigs are as cute as the cows, if not more, and they should probably hold the exact same value. I don't really question it though, like it is what it is. But if I look at it from this perspective, I do have to say this person is probably right. Like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I feel like once again this does just come down to preferences, as a lot of them do, and like I'd understand, I guess, if there's like a tiny bit more demand on a certain pet so they hold a tiny bit more value, but there's such a big jump in between some of them to the point I just feel like it's unfair. Like another example of this is the crow and the owl. This is a big one for me because I feel like the crow is super cool, and for some reason the owl is just so much better than it. Like they're both legendaries, they're both from the same egg, you had the exact same chance of getting like either of them, and for some reason there's such a big difference in the value. It just makes me feel like the value systems are a bit rigged. Like I don't feel like preppy values are the issue, I feel like exotic values are the issue, because if you ask me, the definition of exotic is something that is just very rarely seen, but we're making anything exotic nowadays. Like sure, if something's preppy and cute, you're gonna want it like more than the other pets, so that's fine, that's gonna be in higher demand, but we can't just pick any pets and say, oh well, this is an exotic looking pet, so it's in higher demand. Like I just feel like the word exotic has lost all of its meaning at this point. The next one says, I wish there were more than 2 ways to get age ups. They should make some of those task rewards age ups and add new obbies to win age up potions, as it would help revive them. Obviously this would be super cool and I wouldn't complain if it was a thing, but I have to also say disagree, just because I feel like it would take away from the value of neons and megas. Just having the age up potion update to begin with made it tons easier to make neons quicker, so to ask for it to be even more accessible might be pushing it. One thing I do like about this one is the idea of whenever you make a neon you could earn one, because that's just opening a more varied way of getting them without making it absolutely like super easy. Like you're still having to put in effort and work to get it, not just by completing an obby, although then again they probably do need to be revived in some way. But overall, like, my opinion still does stand. I just feel like making age up potions super easy to get would just defeat the whole purpose of even having them, because they're not even like a reward at this point, they're just a common way to do tasks. The final opinion I have on my list is, no one really ever says this, but the game is very pay to win, items are also kind of overpriced. I do have to say disagree on this one, but like literally hear me out. I never ever spend Robux on Adopt Me. The last time I spent it was actually quite recently when I bought the Pet Plus subscription, but other than that I never buy pets. I never like give myself an advantage, and not to sound like too big-headed. I feel like I've still done quite well. And if I really want a Robux pet that bad, I will just trade for it. Like, anybody can do that. And sure, you might not have the pets to trade for it, but that is literally the whole aim of Adopt Me. Like, I feel like you can't say, oh, I feel like the game's too difficult. Like, it wouldn't be a game if it was easy. It literally just all comes down to how much effort and time you put into the game. And to add on to that, people also tend to forget that Adopt Me is literally a business at the end of the day, so things have to cost money for them to profit off of it. And I actually think they could be a lot harsher about it. Like, at least we can still access them through trading. Like, it's not like we are completely off of bounds. And I'd actually really like to do a poor to rich challenge on this channel, like maybe for 30 days without any Robux, just to see like how well I could do, because I've done it so many times and I always have a really good inventory. So I kind of want to show you guys how I do it. And my final point for this is probably that making things cost Robux makes the game more interesting for us, because it naturally makes some pets more desirable than others. If everything was just super easy and accessible, then getting dream pets wouldn't feel nearly as accomplishing, because it would just take a lot less time to do it. And I feel like people would just get really bored of Adopt Me and then would complain about it. I don't feel like Adopt Me can ever win. I'm going to cut my rant short because I could probably go on about this forever. And seeing as that was my last controversial opinion on the list, I'm going to leave you guys here. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope to see you all very soon. Make sure you comment down below any like video suggestions, anything you want to see from me in the future. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all very soon.